Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over some keys of the push-off when sprinting. We're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals.
You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video.
Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become.
All right, so we are just in an endless pursuit of being able to help people in improving their speed. We're going to go over some key things here, and really this is going to go into a key mistake that I see when people are towing off. This particular athlete has it really, really bad, and I think it's important to be able to recognize it. I think it's important to be able to talk about it, and really I want to continue to give you guys relevant content to understand how to be able to run faster. And I think this back view is something we got to be able to look more at. We have a sprinter with really great top speed, great mechanics here on the right, guy that we need to work on the left. And the important concepts to be able to understand here is the importance of the start, right? So when we're looking at the start and what we're doing in the fundamentals of the start, it is a critical part of understanding how that's going to end up impacting our top end speed. And so what we're seeing here with this athlete is, and then we'll fast forward a little bit here on the right. We'll use the right leg so we can see some consistency here. So what we're seeing here, and this is going to be top speed, and we'll get to the athlete on the left and his top speed as well. What we see is the transition into the toe off, right? And what we can see as he's toeing off is the foot is really turning inside. You'll be able to see a lot more of what I'm talking about in a second. And then we see here with this athlete how as he's toeing off, how he is going outside. We can see how that foot is really transitioning from facing inwards to going outwards. In comparison to more maybe middle would be like a neutral position to then an inward position. Okay, it's not necessarily outward, even though I tell people that you want to kind of have more of your weight shift to the outside part of the foot, so you want to be able to land. And then as that foot lands, we're able to control, stabilize, maybe neutral would be a good way to put it, or maybe on the outside part of the foot. But what's important is that as we push off, we want to be getting back onto the inside part of the foot, closest to the very tip of that big toe as we are transitioning off the foot, and then from there, driving straight forward and through. Okay, and so what we don't want to have happen is we don't want to have our weight landing and then transition to the inside, right? So he didn't really shift his weight, just kept all of his weight on the inside, and then from there pushed outwards. Okay, because then it's going to make it so that foot ends up almost going off to the side when landing. This one would be a better example of landing more on the outside part of the foot, shifting inwards, and then again, see how he's pushing off here? This is just not the effective way of being able to toe off, right? This makes it so now the foot ends up going more like around or out to the side before coming forward and through. And again, it's just not effective, right? It's something that is really going to have a negative impact on your overall mechanics long term. So now we'll look at the same mechanics when running at top speed, and this is actually a little bit later on, but we can see some of the similar issues. So if we look to see athlete on the right, while there's some things that could definitely improve here, we can see that the leg is pulling back pretty stable at landing and then pushing off from that position. In comparison to here on the right, where we're seeing landing immediately going into a large amount of pronation at the landing, and then when pushing off, the foot is kind of going to the outside. And we see people that when their foot is coming back, it almost looks like their foot is coming like around, right? It just doesn't look right in terms of what they're doing with their backside mechanics. And this is what's happening, right? Is that when they're toeing off with their foot going outward rather than inward. And this is really common and really a dangerous pattern because it puts a lot more pressure on that inside part of the knee. So people that have this, and the reason I'm doing this is because this is a football athlete that is really putting himself a lot more at risk for ACL injuries, ankle injuries, groin injuries by doing these particular mechanics, putting you a lot more at risk for injury. Okay, so not only is he not performing as well, but he's also putting himself a lot more at risk for injury. And I know there's a lot of people, especially within like soccer, that I've seen have similar running patterns as this. And I think it's really something that needs to be able to be addressed and needs to be able to be changed. And I think by seeing what it is that he's doing and being able to really slow it down gives you the opportunity to then potentially correct it when you actually see, the running done in whatever sports. Again, track and field, soccer, football, baseball, the mechanics end up being the same. It's just how do you apply those same mechanics is going to be a little bit different from sport to sport depending on what it is that you're doing. So as always, guys, if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you want to check out some of the things that we have available, go ahead and check the description down below, or if you want to ask any questions to me. There are a lot of great things that we have available for athletes that are looking to improve their mechanics. I highly recommend track athletes, now that the track and field is coming to an end, you guys check out some of the programs that we have available because it could really make a big difference on your mechanics. We have one guy that went from a 7.8 to a 7.2, well, sub 7.2 in the 60, just within like a 3 to 4 weeks time span, and we're just getting started. He still has a lot of things that need to be improved, particularly within his start, but these same mechanics that we're going over here and making these corrections and these adjustments are what got him to be able to eventually make the improvements that he did. And like I said, there's still a lot of things to be able to improve on. There's really nobody that's looking at mechanics the way that I am. And so if you are not getting this type of coaching, then you're really not going to make the same level of improvement. I think there's a lot of people that are working really, really hard and not getting the results that they deserve because they're not working on the right things. What we're doing here at the Performance Lab is we're working smarter, not harder. And that's going to be the big thing that will help us in transitioning into a higher level of achievement, I think, over a longer period of time. So again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, go ahead and leave those down below. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.